Netflix is about to tackle one of the most critically acclaimed DC titles of all time through its adaptation of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. Tom Sturridge stars as the Sandman of the title, aka Morpheus, along with a host of familiar faces in the cast including Gwendoline Christie, Boyd Holbrook, Charles Dance, Jenna Coleman, and more. The Sandman, not to be confused with the Spider-Man villain, revolves around a powerful entity known as Dream or Morpheus, though he has many other names, too. Morpheus is the living embodiment of dreams and a member of a family known as the Endless. Morpheus is nearly as old as existence itself, coming into being when the first life forms began dreaming, and he both draws strength from dreams and has the ability to shape them to his will. However, as Morpheus learns over the course of the series, even a being as ancient and powerful as he must learn how to change or face certain doom. The Sandman is a series with ties to the DC universe, particularly heroes like the Justice Society's Wesley Dodds, John Constantine and Element Girl. However, Morpheus rarely concerns himself with the affairs of ordinary heroes and villains. Most of his battles involve mythological gods, supernatural creatures and even Lucifer Morningstar. The Sandman also introduces a realm known as the Dreaming. The Dreaming is home to Morpheus's castle and serves as the nexus of all dreamtime. This realm also plays home to characters like Morpheus's librarian Lucien, his pet raven Matthew, groundskeeper Merv Pumpkinhead and brothers Cain and Abel, who live in the House of Mystery and House of Secrets, respectively. The mythology of the Endless, their conflicts, and the challenges they have in keeping the balance between their realm and that of humanity are all introduced to viewers in the first season. Morpheus, often known as Dream, is the story's main character. His capture marks the beginning of the show's events. By the time the season is over, a large number of characters have been introduced. Even if Dream is able to find solutions to the majority of his issues, he will soon face new difficulties. The season finale foreshadows the events of Season 2, giving Dream's future a fairly gloomy appearance. The Order of Ancient Mysteries Glass Prison is where Morpheus, the King of Dreams, spends his time after casting a spell that accidentally captured her brother rather than death. Dream's tools are taken away from him, severely weakening him. He spends his time in captivity and silence, hoping that one day, someone will make a mistake and release him. More than a century later, the day comes. When Dream escapes captivity, he has a never-ending list of concerns. He needs to retrieve his equipment. He is required to retrieve the lost nightmares and dreams. He must recreate the dreaming, while also coming to terms with the fact that his realm's hierarchy and structure have changed somewhat without him. But when a dream vortex is discovered, the main issue becomes apparent. In the midst of all of this, attention is also drawn to Dream's friendly connection with Death and his rivalry with his sibling, Desire, who constantly comes up with new ways to cause him grief. In his quest for his tools, Lucifer Morningstar, the supreme ruler of hell, ends up becoming Dream's adversary. Lucifer decides it is time to wage war on the dreaming and eventually take over the waking world as well. A dream vortex is an entity with the capacity to create or obliterate entire universes. It becomes the center of all dreams and nightmares until the partitions between people's dreams are broken down. The barriers separating the waking world from the dreaming world eventually dissolve as well. Everyone is contained within a single dream by the vortex, which finally collapses in on itself, damaging the dreaming irreparably and having an impact on the waking world as well. It is Dream's responsibility to address this issue, which presents itself to him in the form of Rose Walker. After the investigation into her missing brother, she begins to show signs of her abilities, which get stronger every day. Lyta Hall becomes pregnant in her dream and brings her child to the waking world, and Dream initially keeps an eye on her from a distance, watching her both in the dreaming and the waking world. As a result, Dream is convinced that she should be killed. In the end, Rose too accepts her fate and is willing to pass away in order to save the planet. However, a secret is subsequently made public, dramatically altering the scenario. It turns out that Unity Kincaid was meant to be the original dream vortex of this time period. When Dream was caught by Roderick Burgess, she was still a little child. The globe became infected with the sleeping illness while he was away, and Unity was one of its victims. She spent all of her waking hours dreaming, where she met the golden-eyed man, gave birth to a kid, and finally became Rose's grandma. Unity's destiny to become the vortex was handed down to her offspring because she was unable to accomplish it, forcing Rose to take on that burden. To save her great-granddaughter, Unity takes away Rose's heart, which is what makes her the vortex. On destroying it, Unity dies. With the vortex dead, Dream has no reason to kill Rose, who goes back home to her brother and her friends. However, having given away her heart will certainly have implications for her future. It might have made her the vortex, but it was also an essential part of her being. With her heart gone, how will Rose ever feel anything? This revelation also sets up the second season, with Desire's rivalry with Dream coming more into focus. As soon as Unity mentions the golden-eyed man, Dream knows that it was Desire who meddled with his affairs. If Desire hadn't impregnated Unity, then Rose would never have been born, and the whole vortex situation would have been settled with Unity dying in her sleep. Clearly, Desire was not happy with it and decided to create a huge problem for Dream by furthering the problem of the vortex. It would also have been a big deal for Dream to kill Rose Walker, because with Desire being her great-grandfather, Dream would, unintentionally, be spilling the family's blood. While the show doesn't yet go into why Desire is so interested in ruining Dream's life, or why they want Dream to kill Rose Walker so bad, it certainly has to do with the eons-long history between the siblings, who clearly don't share the closest of bonds. This arc is explored in the comic books in detail, and considering how close the show remains to its source, all you need to know, without having anything spoiled for the future, is that spilling family blood bestows vulnerability on an all-powerful Endless. And a vulnerable Endless is a killable Endless. Clearly, we'll be seeing more of Rose as her connection to Desire leaves much to be explored. She and her brother, Jed, are the children of the Endless, which means that this isn't the last we've seen of them. Desire's quest to bring Dream to his knees coincides with Lucifer's ambition of conquering all realms and turning them into hell. In the future, Dream's enemies might become allies and join forces to destroy him and his realm. The following season will expand further on their mythology when the other three siblings emerge to fix the issue, given all the danger that is in store for him and the conflict between the two Endless. It might split them into groups, with some side with Dream and others with Desire, making it simpler for Lucifer to fulfill his own desires.